Chapter 1. I used to think the house only felt safe when everyone was gone. When I was 8, I learnt how quiet the hallway could be at 2 in the afternoon. Mum was at the hospital, Dad at the shop, Kiara at school. I'd stand in front of Mum's dresser like it was a church, hands shaking while I opened the top drawer. The nylon felt cool, almost wet, against my fingers. I didn't know words like fetish or crossdressing then. I just knew the slide of pantyhose up my skinny legs made the world go still. I'd pull one of her slips over my head, the lace hem brushing my thighs, and stare at myself in her mirror until I heard a car on the street and panicked. Everything went back exactly the way I found it, or close enough that nobody ever said anything. By 10 o'clock I got braver. I'd wait until the house was empty and I knew I had time. I'd then sit on her bedroom floor with her makeup bag open like treasure. The lipstick was always too dark for me, but I loved the weight of it, the waxy smell. I'd paint my mouth careful and slow, pressing my lips together the way I watched her do, then wipe it off with tissues until my skin stung. Some nights I fell asleep in one of her nightgowns, buried under my own covers, terrified she'd come in to check on me and feel the satin instead of my pajamas. Kaya never knew how much I watched her. She was 3 years older and already beautiful in that careless way older sisters are. She'd come home from school, drop her backpack, and change into soft leggings and tiny shorts while talking on the phone. I'd sit on the stairs and pretend to read, memorizing how she moved, how she laughed with one hand on her hip, how she looked in the morning with no makeup and still perfect. I wanted that ease. I wanted to be her, to feel the way people smiled at her when she walked into a room. Mum's things stopped being fashionable to me when turned 12. Her bras were not like my sister's things. I started sneaking into Kia's room instead. Her clothes were brighter, younger, cut for someone closer to my size. The first time I slid into one of her thongs, I stood in front of her mirror for 20 minutes, afraid to move, afraid the tiny scrap of lace would rip, afraid of how much I liked the way it felt. Her cropped hoodies, her pleated skirts, the little ankle socks with the lace trim, everything smelled like her coconut shampoo and made me feel closer to the girl I saw when I closed my eyes. I told myself it was just clothes, just fabric, but it wasn't. It was the way the skirt flared when I spun. It was the click of borrowed heels on the bathroom tile when I practiced walking quiet. It was the rush of painting my eyes with her drugstore eyeliner and seeing someone's sweet and pretty stare back at me. Someone who didn't flinch the way Clark always did. I wanted to speak softer. I wanted my hands to move like hers did when she told a story. I wanted to tilt my head and smile small and know that people saw gentle instead of awkward. I wanted to be the kind of pretty that made strangers kind. Some nights I'd mouth words in the mirror. Hi, I'm Carol, testing the name like a secret prayer, feeling it settle in my mouth like it belonged there. Today the house is finally, truly empty. Kia left for college this morning. I stood at the window and watched Dad's truck disappear, watched Mum's car turn the corner for her shift, counted to 500 this time instead of 100. My heart is beating so hard, I can feel it in my teeth. Her room still has everything I've been dreaming about for years. The dresser drawers are half full, the closet door hanging open like an invitation. I close it behind me, rest my forehead against the cool wood for a second, and breathe. Today nobody's coming home early. Today I don't have to rush. Today I can take my time and be the girl I've only ever been in the shadows. I didn't know Mum had the day off. Chapter 2. Clark had waited all morning for the house to empty. Kaya's flight to college left at dawn. Dad was already at the shop, and Mum's shift at the hospital started at 7. He watched her car back out of the driveway from the upstairs window, stood there until the taillights disappeared, then counted to 500 just to be sure. He was 15, small for his age, and knew his sister's clothes would fit better than ever. Now alone, the silence felt huge. Kaya's room still smelled like her coconut shampoo and cheap vanilla body spray. Half the closet was empty, but plenty remained. Skirts on hangers, dresses she'd called out of style, a drawer full of tights and soft bras. Clark's pulse thumped as he closed the door behind him. No one was supposed to be home. He started slow. Grey leggings, an oversized sweater that hung off one shoulder, then the denim skirt he'd watched her wear 100 times. The mirror showed someone softer, someone he wished he could keep. He was sitting cross-legged on her carpet, fumbling with a delicate necklace, when the front door downstairs opened. Keys on the hook, grocery bags rustling, Mum's voice, "Forgot my damn badge again." Footsteps on the stairs, quick and familiar. Clark scrambled up, heart slamming, but there was nowhere to go. The bedroom door swung open, and Marge stood there in her scrubs, purse over her shoulder, eyes widening for only a second before something gentler settled in. She didn't scream. She just really looked and closed the door softly. "Clark," she said, calm, like asking him to pass the salt. "Come downstairs with me, honey. Leave everything on. We're going to talk." He couldn't move. The skirt felt suddenly too short, the sweater too bright. Heat flooded his face. Marge stepped closer, set her purse down, and touched his cheek gently. "I'm not angry," she said quietly, "but we need to talk about this. Come on." She took his warm, steady hand and led him downstairs. Each step sounded louder than the last, the skirt brushing his thighs, the leggings whispering. He kept his eyes on the carpet. In the living room, she sat him on the couch, took the armchair across from him, and waited. Clark hugged his arms around himself, fingers digging into the soft sleeves. His throat ached. "I know this isn't the first time," Marge said, voice low and kind. "I've been finding my pantyhose snagged or inside out for years." Kaya's things moved around. My navy pumps stretched at the toes. She gave a small, sad smile. "I never said anything, because I hoped you'd trust me enough to tell me yourself. I didn't want to shame you if this was something you needed." Clark's eyes burned. He stared at his knees, the way the denim skirt rode up when he sat. "Look at me, sweetheart." He did, barely. Tears blurred everything. "Why?" she asked, not accusing, just wanting to understand. Why her clothes? The words tumbled out small and cracked. Because she got to be pretty. She got to wear soft things and feel right. Everyone tells her she looks nice, and I wanted to know what that felt like, just to see. His voice broke. He pressed his lips together. Marge was quiet a long moment, then moved beside him on the couch and pulled him gently against her side. He stiffened, then folded into her, tears soaking her scrub top. "You don't have to hide this from me anymore," she whispered, smoothing his hair. "I'm not going anywhere, and I'm not ashamed of you. We'll figure the rest out together, starting right now." They talked for hours. Marge asked gentle questions: how long he had felt this way, what the clothes meant, why Kaya's in particular. Clark answered in small pieces at first, but her calm acceptance loosened the knots inside him. He told her about the envy that twisted into longing, the secret relief when fabric felt right against his skin. The afternoon light dimmed until the streetlights came on, and that's when the garage door rumbled open. Clark bolted upright, panic flooding him. "Dad's home. I have to change." Marge caught his hand. "Sit down, sweetheart. It's going to be okay. Trust me. Your dad loves you. We'll face this together." Clark sank back down, knees pressed tight, fingers twisting in the skirt's hem. He was shaking with fear and lowered his head into his hands. At that moment, he wanted to be anywhere else but here, facing his dad. Heavy footsteps echoed from the kitchen. The living room door swung open, and Henry stood there in his work shirt, grease on his hands, lunch cooler over his shoulder. He stopped short, eyes widening at the scene, his wife on the couch, their son in a girl's sweater and skirt, makeup smudged from tears. For a long moment, no one spoke. Henry's face went through shock, confusion, something close to hurt. He set the cooler down slowly. Marge stood, keeping one hand on Clark's shoulder. "Henry, we need to talk. All three of us." Henry rubbed a hand over his face, then nodded toward the armchair. "Yeah, okay." He sat heavily, eyes flicking back to Clark, lingering on the skirt, the careful eyeliner, the crossed ankles. Marge explained everything. Coming home early, the years of quiet signs, the conversation they'd just had. When she finished, silence stretched again. Finally, Henry looked directly at Clark. This is what you want? Really want?" Clark swallowed, nodding. "Yes." Henry exhaled long and slow. "I don't understand it. Not yet. But we love you. And your mum seems to think this is the right thing to do." He paused. "So, if this makes you happy." Marge reached for Henry's hand across the coffee table. She turned back to Clark, voice soft. "When I found you earlier, you whispered a name. Carol. Is that what you've been calling yourself?" Clark nodded, cheeks warm. "Yeah, it's the one that feels right." Marge's eyes lit up with tenderness. "You know, that was my grandmother's name. Grandma Carol. Strong, kind, beautiful woman. Always my favourite." She smiled, brushing a stray hair from his forehead. "If it feels right to you, then it's perfect. I'd be honoured to have my daughter carry her name." Henry tried it quietly. "Carol." He nodded once, the corner of his mouth lifting. "Yeah, it fits." The name settled over the room like a warm blanket. Carol felt tears prick again. but this time from something deeper than fear. Henry leaned forward. I'm not going to lie, this is a lot, but I'm the man of this house, and we do things right or not at all. No half measures, no sneaking around. If Carol is who you are, then you live it fully, the whole summer, every day. You'll be our daughter, tell people if they ask, learn what it means, the good and the hard. Carol stared, heart racing. You mean? Marge squeezed her hand. We mean we love you, and we'll help you be who you need to be. Henry managed a small smile. Starting tomorrow. But tonight? You look tired, Carol. Go get some rest. Carol stood on shaky legs, the skirt brushing her thighs, the name still fresh on her parents' lips, but already feeling like it had always belonged to her. Chapter 3, the next weeks, moved fast. Marge took her shopping the very next day. They drove to the big mall an hour away, the one with stores Kaya used to beg to visit. Carol wore one of Kaya's old sundresses and a light cardigan, hair brushed as smooth as she could manage. Her hands shook while they walked through the parking lot, but Marge held one of them steady. They started with basics, packs of soft cotton panties in pastel colours, simple bras that fit right, leggings and skirts and tops that weren't borrowed or stretched. Marge guided without pushing, holding things up, asking what felt nice, what colours made Carol smile. In the dressing room mirror, Carol saw someone new taking shape, someone who didn't have to rush. At the jewellery kiosk, Marge nodded toward the piercing gun. If we're doing this, let's do it. 2 quick pricks and small silver studs gleamed in Carol's ears. Next came the nail salon across the walkway, where a technician shaped acrylics into gentle ovals and painted them a soft pink that caught the light every time Carol moved her fingers. Henry stayed home during one of their day-long shopping trips and decided to make a small change to his son's room. While they were gone, he cleared out Clark's old room, sports posters down, model cars boxed up, plain blue comforter stripped from the bed. By the time they got back with bags and boxes, he had painted the walls a pale lavender and assembled a new white daybed with a ruffled duvet. Sheer curtains replaced the old blinds. A full-length mirror was placed by the closet. A vanity with a lighted mirror stood where the desk used to be, its surface already scattered with new makeup brushes and palettes Marge had picked out. On the walls he hung posters of the boy bands and young actors Carol shyly admitted to liking, the ones with gentle smiles and soft hair. A jewellery stand held new earrings and delicate necklaces. The closet got organisers for skirts and dresses, a full-length mirror on the inside of the door. He stood in the doorway when they walked in, arms crossed again, but his eyes softened as Carol stopped dead in the hallway, bags slipping from her fingers. Carol's mouth fell open, eyes wide, as she stepped inside. Oh my gosh, Dad, it's perfect. She spun slowly, taking in the lavender walls glowing soft in the afternoon light, the ruffled bed looking like something from a magazine, the vanity waiting just for her. Tears welled up instantly. It's the prettiest room I've ever seen. Marge dropped her bags and clapped her hands together, eyes shining. Henry, look at this. You turned it into a real girl's dream. The curtains, the posters, that vanity, oh sweetheart, it's gorgeous. She rushed around, fluffing a pillow, adjusting a frame. And the colours, so soft and feminine. Our girl is going to feel like a princess every single night. Carol ran her fingers over the duvet, the jewellery stand, the labelled drawers, tears spilling over. Dad, thank you. It's beautiful. I love it. Henry shifted, a little embarrassed by the fuss, but his smile was genuine. Figured if you're going to dress like a girl, you need the full treatment. Carol launched herself at him, hugging tight, face pressed to his shirt. Marge joined in, wrapping arms around both of them, laughing through happy tears. You're amazing, Henry. The best husband and father a girl could wish for. After a second, his arms came around her, solid and careful. The rest of the summer filled in around the new rules. Marge enrolled her in a beginner makeup class at the department store counter on Saturday mornings, then ballet twice a week at the little studio downtown. Carol learned to stand taller, to move smoother, to hold her hands like the teacher showed her. Weekly salon visits became routine. A trim to shape the growing hair, subtle highlights that caught the light, eyebrows gently arched. Some days were hard. Friends texted confusion when Carol explained over careful phone calls. A cousin stared too long at a family barbecue, until Henry quietly told him to mind his manners. But most days felt like breathing deeper than ever before. Evenings often found the three of them in the living room, Carol in soft pajamas or a nightgown, painting her nails while Marge flipped through magazines for hairstyle ideas, and Henry pretended to watch the game, but glanced over every few minutes to ask if she needed anything. Summer stretched ahead, full and new and a little terrifying, but for the first time Carol didn't feel like she was waiting for the other shoe to drop. She was already wearing both of them, and they fit just right. Chapter 4, Carol's POV. I never knew air could feel so different on skin. The first morning after Dad laid down the rules, I woke up in the new room. Lavender walls soft in the early light, ruffled duvet tangled around my legs. For a second I forgot, then remembered everything at once. The summer stretched out in front of me like a gift I was terrified to unwrap. I lay there, listening to the house wake up, Mum in the kitchen, Dad's heavy footsteps on the stairs, and felt my stomach flip with nerves and something warmer I didn't have a name for yet. Mum came in before I could even sit up, carrying a complete outfit she had laid out on the guest bed while I slept. She smiled soft and sure, like this was the most ordinary morning in the world. Up you go, sweetheart. Let's get you ready for the day. On the chair waited everything, chosen with care, a delicate set of pale blue lingerie, satin panties with a thin lace trim that whispered against my fingers when I touched them, a matching bra with just enough padding to give a gentle shape. Beside it lay sheer nude pantyhose, the kind with a subtle shimmer, folded neatly so the control top showed. A simple white dress hung over the back, sleeveless with a fitted bodice and a skirt that flared out to mid-thigh, light cotton perfect for the warm day ahead. On the floor sat low nude heels, only 2 inches, strappy with thin ankle buckles. I changed in the bathroom, heart racing. The panties slid up smooth and cool, hugging in a way that made me shiver. The bra clasped easy in front now that Mum had shown me the trick. I sat on the edge of the tub to roll the pantyhose up my legs, feeling the nylon stretch and cling, smoothing every inch, turning my skin silky and even. The sensation was constant, gentle pressure, like a secret embrace no one else could see. Back in the room, Mum helped me step into the dress. She pulled the zipper up my back slow and steady, the fabric settling against the lingerie underneath, cool at first, then warming to my body. She fluffed my hair with her fingers, shaping it forward around my face to soften the edges, making it fall just right so I looked more passable, more like any other girl my age. Last, she tied a light silk scarf around my neck, pale pink with tiny white dots, the ends draping soft over my collarbone. There, she said, turning me to the mirror. Beautiful. Getting dressed that first day took forever, but with Mum's help, it felt like a ritual instead of a risk. I stood in front of the closet afterward in the full outfit, fingers brushing hangers, still half afraid to believe everything was mine now. No sneaking. The dress moved with me, light and free. The pantyhose whispered with every shift. The heels gave just enough lift to change how I walked, how I held myself. Downstairs, Dad glanced up from his coffee. He took in the dress, the scarf, the painted nails, the careful makeup I'd practiced the night before, and nodded once. Morning, Carol. Just like that. No stumble over the name, no staring too long. He went back to his newspaper, but later, when Mum and I left for the mall again, he squeezed my shoulder on the way out. Firm, steady. Have a good day, kiddo. It wasn't much, but it felt like armor. Walking through the parking lot in daylight was the hardest part at first. Every breeze lifted the hem of the dress, cool air slipping up my thighs over the sheer pantyhose. The nylon hugged my legs in a constant whisper, making me hyper-aware of every step, every shift of weight in the strappy heels. My heart pounded so loud I was sure people in passing cars could hear it. I waited for stares, laughs, whispers. Some people did look, curious or surprised, but most just glanced and moved on. A woman at the mall entrance smiled, like she thought I was any other teenage girl out with her mum. That small kindness almost undid me. The nail salon became our Saturday ritual. I'd sit in the massage chair next to Mum, dress tucked carefully under me, pantyhose gleaming under the bright lights, while the technicians soaked off the old colour and shaped the acrylics fresh. The warm water, the gentle filing, the soft brush of polish, all of it felt indulgent, intimate. Mum would chat with the ladies about shades and trends, calling me my daughter without hesitation, and I'd blush under the makeup but smile too. One afternoon the technician asked if I wanted a little design, tiny white flowers on 2 nails, and I said yes before fear could stop me. Walking out with them glittering in the sunlight made me feel pretty, in a way I'd only ever dreamed about. Friends were trickier. Jake and Tyler came by one afternoon, unannounced. bikes tossed on the lawn. I heard their voices from the porch and froze in the kitchen doorway, wearing a pleated skirt and a cropped sweater, toenails freshly painted from the night before. Mum gave me a gentle push. "You can do this." I stepped outside, heart in my throat, and watched their faces cycle through confusion, shock, then careful neutrality. Jake recovered first. Hey, Carol?" I nodded, explained as best I could, voice shaking. Tyler mostly stared at his shoes. They didn't stay long that day, but Jake texted later, still the same dork who sucks at video games. That was enough for now. Family gatherings were worse and better. Aunt Linda hugged me too tight and said I looked adorable. Uncle Ray grunted and avoided eye contact until Dad quietly told him to knock it off. Cousins my age whispered, some mean, some curious, but Grandma just patted my hand and said, "You've always been a sweet child. Clothes don't change that." I cried in the bathroom after, happy tears for once. The lingerie was private magic. At night, I'd change into one of the soft camise sets, satin cool against my chest, lace edging tickling my thighs. Or the days Mum let me wear stockings with garters under a longer skirt, the gentle tug at the clips every time I moved. Secret and thrilling. Heels took practice. The first pairs were low, but soon I could walk across the kitchen tile in strappy sandals without wobbling. Each click felt like claiming space. Dad surprised me most. He never made a scene, but the little things he did piled up. He'd hold the door for me and Mum without thinking. He started calling me young lady when he teased me about leaving dishes in the sink. One evening I caught him in the garage, moving my old bike to make room for a new white one with a basket, the kind I'd stared at in the store window. He just shrugged when I thanked him, eyes on the wrench in his hand. Figured Carol might want something prettier. Fear still crept in at night. What about school in September? Would friends really stick around? Would people be cruel? But then morning would come, and I'd slip into another outfit, another layer of who I was becoming, and the happiness would rise up strong enough to push the fear back a little further each time. Some days I felt like I was floating. The breeze under a skirt, the shine of gloss on my lips, the way Mum braided my growing hair while we watched movies, Dad asking if I needed anything from the store like it was the most normal thing in the world. This was only summer, only borrowed time, but for the first time I could imagine a future where the girl in the mirror didn't have to disappear when September came. I wanted to believe she could stay. Chapter 5, The Chores, started the week after the mall trips settled into routine. Mum sat me down one evening after dinner, a handwritten list on the kitchen table. Dad nodded along from his chair. "If you're living as our daughter this summer," Mum said gently, "then you'll take on the kinds of things a daughter your age would help with. Vacuuming, dusting, laundry, ironing, changing sheets, keeping bathrooms tidy, all while dressed like any teenage girl at home. Shorts and a tank, or a sundress, hair tied back, maybe a little makeup." I stared at the list, cheeks warm. Part of me squirmed at the old-fashioned idea, but another part felt a quiet flutter of belonging. These were things Kia used to complain about. Now they were mine. The first mornings alone felt endless. Mum and Dad gone, I'd stand in the laundry room in soft cotton shorts, a pale green camisole, and low-heeled slides that clicked on the tile. Loading the washer, measuring detergent, separating colours, the damp fabric cool against my fingers. Folding later was harder, but I liked the rhythm, the clean smell filling the house. Grandma started coming over 3 times a week, arriving with cookies or peaches, hugging me tight and calling me sweetheart like always. Only now it landed differently. The first day she found me struggling with the ironing board and Dad's work shirts. "Let me show you, darling," she said, guiding my hands over the steam iron, teaching collars, seams, crisp creases. A good crease makes a man feel taken care of. We worked side by side, the room warm with fresh cotton. Later we did dishes together, I in a floral sundress and pantyhose, because Grandma said legs looked nicer that way when learning to be ladylike. She washed, I dried, hands brushing in soapy water. "You're filling out into such a pretty girl," she said casually. "Any boys catching your eye yet?" Heat rushed to my face. I mumbled something non-committal. Truth was, I did think about it, wondering what it would feel like to have a boy look at me the way they looked at Kaya. It scared and thrilled me in equal measure. Grandma didn't push too hard at first. Instead, she taught posture, how to cross legs at the ankle, how a soft voice carried. She told stories of drive-ins and learning to flirt with a head tilt. I soaked it up, embarrassed by how much I wanted to know. The visits became the best part of my days. She'd compliment the way a skirt flared when I vacuumed or bent to move furniture. We'd change sheets with perfect hospital corners, drink iced tea on the porch afterward. She treated me exactly like the granddaughter she now had asking about ballet, suggesting lip colours, gently correcting my walk, chin up, shoulders back, let your hips move naturally. At first, her questions about boys or how I felt as a girl made me shrink inside. I'd stammer, look away, but Grandma never judged. She just waited until I started answering honestly. Yes, I loved the swish of skirts. Yes, sometimes I imagined a boy holding my hand. Yes, being Carol made me happier than I'd ever been. By mid-August, I waited for her car like it was Christmas. I'd have cookies baking or a new outfit to twirl in. Look what Mum got me, a pleated tennis skirt or strappy sandals. She'd ooh and ah, adjust a strap, tell me I had legs that went on forever. One Thursday, we stood at the sink after lunch, me in a light blue sundress with thin straps, pantyhose gleaming. You move so much nicer now, she said, handing me a glass to dry. Graceful. All that practice has paid off, I smiled. Ballet helps, but your guidance has been priceless, Grandma. She chuckled, then raised an eyebrow. Tell me the truth, any boy at dance class caught your eye? That tall one with the dark hair? I laughed, embarrassed but not hiding anymore. His name's Ethan. He's nice, said I looked pretty in the new leotard. And you say thank you, she teased, and maybe ask him for smoothies after class. Girls get to make the first move too. One afternoon near the end of July, folding tiny stacks of my new panties and bras together, Grandma held up a lacy pink pair. These are darling on you. I laughed instead of blushing and told her about the cute boy in makeup class who'd held the door for me. She listened like it was the most natural thing, then told me how to smile so he knew I noticed. Driving home that evening, sundress fluttering against shaved legs, windows down, I realised I wasn't pretending anymore. The chores, the lessons, the quiet hours alone dressed exactly how I wanted. They were weaving Carol deeper into me every day. Grandma's visits weren't supervised. They were acceptance, wrapped in cookie tins, gentle questions, and the smell of fresh ironed linen. Chores weren't punishment. They were part of my daily life. A life I was starting to believe could be mine beyond August. Summer was half over, and for the first time I wasn't counting down the days until it ended. I was counting the ways I was finally beginning. Chapter 6 August crept in hot and slow, the kind of heat that made the air conditioner hum constantly. My days had settled into a rhythm I never wanted to end. I woke to jasmine-scented drawers and chose simple but pretty outfits for chores, high-waisted shorts, cropped tanks, lace-trimmed panties that felt secretly special. Grandma's visits remained the highlight. She arrived with lemonade or a new recipe, and we tackled the house together. Her shortcuts made everything easier. One Thursday, as we washed the good glasses at the sink, I wore a light blue sundress and pantyhose for that polished look she loved. She noticed how much smoother my movements had become. You move so much nicer now, she said, handing me a glass to dry. Graceful. All that practice has paid off, dear. I smiled, cheeks warm. Ballet helps, but your guidance has been priceless, Grandma. She chuckled, then raised an eyebrow. Any boy at dance class caught your eye? That tall one with the dark hair? Heat rushed to my face. His name's Ethan. He's nice. He said I looked pretty in my new leotard once. And? I didn't know what to say, I admitted. You say thank you, she teased, nudging me with her hip. And maybe ask him for smoothies after class. Girls get to make the first move too. Later, while I vacuumed, she offered gentle reminders. Chin up, shoulders back, hips swaying naturally. She clapped when I got it right, and shared stories of her own first crushes. By mid-August, I waited for her car like a kid at Christmas, ready with fresh cookies or a twirl in a new pleated tennis skirt. She would ooh and ah, adjust a strap, and tell me my legs went on forever. One afternoon after the house sparkled and the sheets were changed with perfect corners, we sat on the porch swing with lemonade. My legs were crossed neatly at the ankle, my dress smoothed under me, and my hair fell in loose waves from her curling iron lessons. You're happy, she said simply. I can tell. I nodded, my throat tight. Yeah, I'm scared sometimes, about school, about everything after summer. But I'm really happy. She squeezed my hand. Good. That's all we ever wanted for you, baby girl. The sun dipped low, the evening air warm and still. I leaned my head on her shoulder, my sundress fluttering in the breeze, and for the first time I truly believed the girl I had become might survive until September after all. Chapter 7, September 1st, fell on a Saturday, bright and warm, the kind of day that felt like summer refusing to let go. I turned 16 that morning, and Mum was at my bedroom door before the sun had fully climbed the sky. Rise and shine, birthday girl, she sang softly, sitting on the edge of my bed and brushing hair from my face. Today is all about my beautiful daughter. I smiled sleepily, my heart already fluttering. We ate breakfast together at the kitchen table, just the two of us, pancakes with strawberries and whipped cream, because she knew they were my favourite now. She called me sweetheart and princess, complimented the way my hair had grown out over the summer, and told me to shower, do light makeup, and wear something simple, because we were spending the day celebrating. The salon smelled like flowers and nail polish when she dropped me off. Maggie greeted me with a hug, calling me Missy and leading me straight to her chair. Mum had already filled her in, showed her the picture of the dress she purchased, explained exactly how she wanted her little girl to look. Sweet, innocent, 16 only once. Maggie never slipped, never said the old name. She chatted about school starting soon, asked if I had my eye on any cute boys, waxed my eyebrows with quick, practiced hands while I winced and laughed. My hair came out shiny and full, parted in the middle and pulled into high twin ponytails that bounced when I turned my head. The manicurist painted my nails soft pink, adding tiny white flowers on each ring finger, the polish gleaming wet under the lights. The pedicure matched, toes peeking out adorable and bright. I felt pretty, younger than my years with the ponytails and fresh face, but pretty in a way that made my chest warm. Mum returned at 3, a garment bag over one arm, a small suitcase in the other, eyes sparkling. Makeup was just finishing, rosy cheeks, glossy pink lips, a touch of shimmer on my lids. Darling, she breathed, spinning my chair to face her. You look so pretty and cute. I love the pigtails. They make you look so cute, my perfect little girl. Thanks, Mum, I mumbled, cheeks hot. But I look like a little kid. Nonsense, she said firmly, kissing the air near my cheek so she wouldn't smudge anything. You're only 16 once in your life, and I want my girl to feel special. Now come to the back. I have one of your presents waiting. The private changing room felt like a dream. Laid out on the bench was the dress, short, baby doll style, layers of pale pink organza over a floral print, puffed sleeves, square neckline trimmed in delicate lace, vintage 50s perfection, the kind of dress that screamed femininity. Beside it sat matching pink satin panties with a tiny bow, a lightly padded bra to give gentle shape, sheer nude pantyhose still in the package, white lace ankle socks to wear over them, and the shoes, tall pink platforms with ankle straps that made my stomach flip just looking at them. My heart raced. Mum, I know, she said softly, helping me step into the panties, the satin cool and smooth against my skin, the bra clasped easy, the pantyhose rolled up slow and careful, nylon hugging every curve. The lace socks came next, that stood out over my shiny pantyhose. Then the dress zipped up the back, flaring out in a cloud of pink. Last the platforms, buckling around my ankles, lifting me higher, making my legs look endless under the short hem. I turned to the mirror and barely breathed, pigtails bouncing, nails flowery and bright, the dress twirling when I moved, socks and sheer hose catching light, platforms clicking. I looked like every secret girl's fantasy I'd ever had come to life. Mum, I can't go out like this, I whispered, panic rising. Everyone will stare. Yes, baby, she said, adjusting one of my sleeves, eyes shining with pride. They'll stare because they'll see the prettiest girl in the room. And if anyone asks, I'll tell them we're celebrating my daughter's sweet 16. Trust me. The salon erupted in happy birthday when we walked out front to pay, stylists and customers smiling, clapping. I stood frozen in the middle of the room, like a deer caught in the headlights, face burning under the makeup. Mum just laughed, thanked everyone, and guided me to the car. We drove to the Holiday Inn, Mum saying Dad was meeting us for a late lunch. The hostess smiled wide when we arrived. Happy birthday, Carol. Right this way. I shot Mum a questioning look. She squeezed my hand. Relax, sweetheart. Enjoy the attention. The hostess led us past the main dining room, down a hallway. I heard muffled voices, music, then the door opened, and everything stopped. Surprise. The room exploded in pink and white balloons, streamers twisting from the ceiling, confetti on the tables. A huge banner stretched across the back wall, Happy Sweet 16 Carol. Below it stood the princess chair, oversized and tufted pink, a small table in front holding a glittering silver crown that read Sweet 16 in rhinestones. 30 faces turned to me, Grandma dabbing her eyes, Grandpa beaming, aunts and uncles clapping, cousins waving, friends from school wide-eyed and smiling. Maggie the stylist near the back with her phone up, and Kaya, my sister, home from college for the weekend, looking stunned but recovering fast with a grin. My legs went weak. For one terrifying second, I wanted to bolt, hide, pretend this wasn't happening. Then Dad was there, strong arm around mine, guiding me gently through the crowd that parted like I really was royalty. "Easy, kiddo," he murmured, voice thick. "We've got you." He led me to the little platform, sat me on the pink throne. Mum followed, fitting the crown carefully over my ponytails and settling it in place. The weight of it, cool metal and sparkling stones, grounded me. Everyone cheered again. Cameras flashed. Kia rushed up first, hugging me tight. "You look incredible," she whispered. "I can't believe they kept this from me too." "Happy birthday, little sis." Tears pricked my eyes, but the good kind. Grandma kissed my cheek, telling me I was the prettiest girl she'd ever seen. Friends crowded around, complimenting the dress, the nails, the everything. Even Jake from down the street managed a shy "you look nice" carol that made me blush harder. Dad stood to one side, arms crossed, watching with that quiet pride he saved for the biggest moments. Mum fluttered around, making sure I was okay, glancing back at me on the throne. Eyes shining like this was the best day of her life too. Music played, people danced. Someone started a slideshow on the wall of photos from the summer. Me at ballet, me and Grandma baking, me twirling in the backyard in a sundress. Warm laughter filled the room. I sat there in my pink cloud of a dress, crown secure, platforms making me feel tall and bold, surrounded by everyone who mattered most, and realised something huge. They weren't just celebrating my birthday, they were celebrating me, Carol, finally, fully, out in the open. And it felt like the sweetest thing in the world. Chapter 8. The room buzzed with happy chatter after the surprise reveal, but Mum climbed onto the little platform beside my princess chair and tapped a spoon against her glass. Everyone quieted, turning toward us with smiles. She looked beautiful in her soft blue dress, eyes glassy as she gazed out at the crowd, then down at me. "I want to say a few words," she began, voice steady but full of emotion. "Henry and I are so proud of our daughter Carol. Turning 16 is special for any girl, but for Carol, this year has been about finding the courage to be her true self. She's been braver than most of us will ever have to be, and she's done it with grace and a smile that lights up every room." Dad stepped up beside her, hand on her shoulder, nodding along. "We want to thank all of you for coming today," Mum continued, "for supporting her on this journey. It means the world to us, and to her. So please, let the party begin. Food and drinks are in the back. Help yourselves. Have fun. We'll open gifts right after the cake is served." She grinned. "And someone please start the music." The opening notes of an upbeat pop song filled the room, and people cheered, heading toward the buffet tables loaded with finger sandwiches, fruit, punch, and a chocolate fountain. Balloons bobbed overhead as aunts and cousins hugged me again, friends snapped selfies, and Grandpa even gave me a hug when nobody was looking. Kia found me first, weaving through the crowd in her college hoodie and jeans, eyes wide but warm. She pulled me into a tight hug, careful not to squash my dress. "I can't believe they kept this from me," she laughed against my hair. "You look amazing. I'm proud of you, little sis. Like, really proud. I can't wait to have a sister to borrow clothes from again." She winked. "And maybe give makeup tips to you as well." I hugged her back harder, throat tight. "Thanks, Kia." Dad appeared next, offering his hand with a small, shy smile. "May I have this dance, young lady?" I took it, letting him lead me to the little open space that had become the dance floor. The song was slower now, something classic and sweet. He held me properly, one hand on my waist, the other guiding mine, like he'd practiced. "Are you happy?" he asked quietly, eyes searching my face. I nodded, tears threatening again. "So happy, Dad. Thank you for everything, for being the best dad." He cleared his throat, looking away for a second. "You deserve it, kiddo." Always did. We swayed like that for a moment, and then, to my complete shock, Julian stepped up beside us. Julian, my friend from chemistry class, the one who always shared his notes and made dumb jokes. He looked nervous, hands in his pockets, but he met Dad's eyes. "Excuse me, sir. Mind if I cut in?" Dad's mouth twitched into a grin. He placed my hand in Julian's without hesitation. "She's all yours." Julian's palm was warm, a little sweaty. He guided me into the dance, careful like I might break. "You look, wow," he said, voice low. "I mean, you look really pretty, Carol. I'm happy for you. This is cool." I blushed so hard I felt it in my toes. "Thanks. I wasn't sure what everyone would think. They think you're awesome, he said simply. I think you're awesome. The song picked up tempo, and we danced closer, laughing when I almost tripped in my platform heels. When it ended, he didn't let go right away. He said, rubbing the back of his neck, would you maybe want to go to the movies sometime? Like, just us? My heart did a full flip. I'd love that. He grinned, relieved, and we danced another song before I got pulled away by Grandma. Grandma and I slipped away to catch my breath to a corner table. We sipped some punch and watched the room full of guests. She had that knowing smile she always had. I sank into the chair beside her, the pink organza of my dress puffing around me like a cloud. Grandma leaned in, eyes twinkling. I saw that young man twirling you around the floor. Julian, isn't it? Word travels fast at parties like this. He asked you out, didn't he? I felt the blush creep up my neck all over again, hotter than before. Grandma, don't grandma me, she teased, patting my hand. I may be old, but I'm not blind. He couldn't take his eyes off you, and you looked like you were enjoying his attention. You were floating like a pretty butterfly. I hid my face behind my hands for a second, peeking through my flowery nails. He did. Asked me to the movies. She chuckled softly, squeezing my fingers. Good for him. And good for you, sweetheart. First dates are magic. I'll come over this week, just you and me, and we'll have a little chat about what to expect, how to act, how to let him know you're interested without giving away all your secrets too soon. We'll practice flirting over tea and cookies. The blush deepened, but a giggle escaped anyway. Okay, thank you, Grandma. She winked. Anything for my favourite granddaughter on her sweet 16. Then the lights dimmed a little, and the cake rolled in on a cart. 3 tiers of pink fondant, Barbie princess topper and all, sparkling under candles shaped like the number 16. Everyone gathered close, singing loudly and off-key, happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday dear Carol, happy sweet 16. I tried not to cry, but I couldn't help it. Mum dabbed my cheeks with a tissue, whispering, don't ruin that pretty makeup, sweetheart. Dad stood proud beside her, arm around her waist. They sat me back in the princess chair for gifts. Kia and Julian wheeled over a table piled high, wrapped boxes and bags in every shade of pink and gold. The opening took longer than I expected, each gift a little ceremony that made my transformation feel even more real, more permanent. Grandma's was first, the long, silky chiffon nightgown, white with delicate lace trimming the neckline and flowing him. Mum took it from my hands and held it up high for everyone to see, the fabric cascading like a waterfall. Isn't this gorgeous? She said, turning so the light caught the sheen. Carol will look so elegant drifting off to sleep in this. Perfect for our little girl. The room murmured agreement, and I blushed, thanking Grandma with a hug. Kaya's gift came next, and Mum's eyes lit up as she helped unwrap it. Several coordinated sets of lingerie, soft satin bras with matching panties in pastel pinks, blues and lavenders, each trimmed with lace and tiny satin bows. Mum didn't hesitate. She lifted a pink set first, holding the bra by its delicate straps and the panties by the waistband so everyone could admire the details. Look at these sweet little bows, she cooed, turning them slowly. And the lace is just darling. Carol's going to feel so pretty wearing these every day. Aren't they perfect for her? Laughter rippled through the room, warm and affectionate, no trace of awkwardness. I sat there in my princess chair, face on fire, hands twisted in the fluffy skirt of my dress, but the embarrassment mixed with a deep, glowing happiness. Everyone was seeing these intimate things, knowing they were for me, for Carol, and they were smiling, approving. Aunt Linda's gift was more of the same. 3 baby doll nighties in sheer pastels, one with ruffled edges that Mum held up and fluffed dramatically. Oh, this one will be so flirty, she said with a wink my way. Our girl deserves to feel feminine from head to toe. Mum's own packages added skirts, dresses, and even a couple of garter belts with stockings. She displayed each one proudly, commenting on colours and fits, how they would look on me. Dad's Ulta gift card got cheers, but when my friend's Victoria's Secret certificate came out, Mum waved it like a flag before handing it over. Perfect for stocking up on more pretties, she declared. With every intimate piece held high, every ooh and ah from the crowd, the old clerk felt further away. These weren't hidden secrets anymore. They were gifts for Carol, celebrated openly, and accepted completely. No one flinched. No one looked away. There was no hiding now, no going back. I was Carol, sweet 16. When the last ribbon fell, I stood and hugged Mum and Dad tight, the crown still on my head, dress swirling around my legs. Thank you, I whispered against Mum's shoulder, for the most special day ever. Mum kissed my forehead. You deserve every bit of it, baby girl. Dad ruffled my ponytails gently. Happy birthday, Carol. The music started again, louder this time, and the party spun on into the evening. I danced until my feet hurt in the platform shoes, laughed until my sides ached, and felt Julian's hand brush mine more than once. 16 had never felt so perfectly, completely right. Chapter 9. The party wound down as the afternoon lights slanted golden through the windows. Balloons sagged a little, confetti sprinkled the floor like pink snow, and most guests had trickled out with hugs and final birthday wishes. The room felt quieter, softer, like the calm after a perfect storm. I sat at one of the round tables, crown tucked away in its box, platforms kicked off under the chair because my feet were blissfully sore. The baby doll dress still fluttered around me when I moved, a constant reminder of the day. Kia dropped into the seat across from me, kicking off her sneakers and pulling her chair closer until our knees touched. She reached for my hands, lacing our fingers together, her thumbs brushing over my flowery nails. For a minute we just sat there, grinning at each other like idiots. She shook her head slowly, taking me in. The pigtails, the pink dress, the makeup that had somehow survived tears and dancing. I still can't get over it, she said finally, voice soft with wonder. You, like really you. And you look incredible. I laughed, a little shy. Thanks. It feels surreal, like I'm waiting to wake up. Kaya squeezed my hands. You're not dreaming. This is real. And I'm so glad I get to be here for it. She paused, eyes getting a little shiny. I missed so much this summer, being away at school. I kept thinking about you guys, but I had no idea this was happening. I wanted to tell you, I said quietly, 100 times, but I was scared. Of what? Me? She pretended to look offended, then softened. I get it, really, but I wish I'd known. I would have sent you half my wardrobe. We both laughed, and she scooted even closer, our knees bumping. Seriously though, she went on, seeing you today, up there in that throne with the crown and the dress, you were glowing. Everyone saw it. And Julian? Total heart eyes. I groaned, hiding my face in my free hand. Stop. Nope. Not stopping. She tugged my hand down, grinning. Okay, I'll stop teasing. For now. But I have to know everything. Like, sister catch-up time. No holding back. She tilted her head, studying me closer. And honestly, how? I mean, you're so convincing. The way you move, the little hand gestures, your voice, it's softer, higher, but natural. You walk like you've been doing this forever. How did my little brother turn into such a natural girl in 8 weeks? I blushed, but her curiosity felt loving, not doubting. A lot of practice. Grandma came over all the time, teaching me how to live as a woman, how to sit, cross my legs, hold my hands, tilt my head when I talk. She'd correct my posture, show me how to laugh without covering my mouth too much. And the ballet classes helped a ton with the graceful movements, the sway in my hips, keeping my shoulders back. It's all little things that add up. Kia's eyes widened. Grandma? Of course. That explains it. She's the queen of feminine. I should have known she'd turn you into a pro. I smiled. She did. And it just clicked. Like muscle memory I didn't know I had. She leaned in, eyes bright with curiosity and love. So how does it really feel to be Carol? Not the party version. The everyday you. I thought for a second, looking down at our joined hands, then back at her. Like breathing for the first time. Like I was holding my breath for years and didn't know it. Everything's brighter, lighter. She nodded, listening closely. Why didn't you ever tell me? I mean, I get Mum and Dad, but me? I would have helped you raid my closet way sooner. I bit my lip, smiling. I was scared. You were always so you. Perfect older sister. I didn't want you to think I was weird or copying you or something. Kaya rolled her eyes. Dork. I would have thought it was awesome. Still do. She leaned in, teasing now. So, favourite lingerie? Be honest. Heat rushed to my cheeks, but her grin made it easy. The soft satin sets. The ones with the little bows. They feel secret pretty. Like something only I know about until I choose to share. Nice choice, she approved. Hairstyle? Loose waves when it's longer, but I secretly love the pigtails today. They make me feel cute, playful. Fashion? Anything flowy. Skater dresses, baby dolls like this one, soft colours. I love feeling the fabric move when I walk, Heels or flats? Heels, I admitted, glancing under the table at the pink platforms. The click, the way they make my legs look, how they force me to stand taller. But flats for every day. Comfy is important too. Kaya's smile turned softer. And Julian? How did it feel dancing with him? My stomach did that flip again just thinking about it. Like floating. His hand on my waist, looking up at him. It felt right. Like something I dreamed about but never thought would happen. And when he asked you out, I squeezed her hands tighter, grinning so wide my cheeks hurt. My heart stopped, then started racing. I felt pretty, wanted, like a real girl on her birthday getting asked on her first date. She squealed quietly, kicking her feet. I knew it. He's cute. You're going to have so much fun. Then her expression gentled. What's the hardest part? Being Carol, I mean. I thought about it, honest, because it was Kia. The fear that it might not last. That school will be different, or people will change their minds. And little things, like voice practice, or worrying I'll never quite pass perfectly. I paused, then added with a playful groan, and okay, the hair. Having it long is annoying sometimes. Strands keep falling in my face, and I'm always getting stray hairs caught on my lipstick. Kia burst out laughing, warm and affectionate. Oh honey, welcome to the club. Every girl deals with that. But you'll learn how to keep it from happening. Holding your head up high helps, hair clips are your new best friend, and a good scrunchie or bobby pins will save your life. You'll get used to it, sis. I'll teach you all the tricks us girls have been using forever. But mostly, I finished, smiling at her. It's getting easier every day. Kaya leaned forward until our foreheads almost touched, knees pressed together, hands still clasped. It will last. Because you're not pretending anymore. You're just you. And I love you, little sis. Always did, always will. Tears pricked my eyes, but happy ones. Love you too. We sat like that for a long time, just the two of us in the quiet room. Sisters, finally, completely. The dress rustled softly when I shifted, the faint scent of cake and perfume in the air, and I'd never felt so whole. The day wasn't over, but the best part felt like it had just begun. Chapter 10. The house felt different when we got home that night. Like the party magic had followed us through the door and settled into every corner. I padded into the living room in my sock feet, the pink platforms left by the entryway, the baby doll dress still swishing softly around my thighs. My pigtails had loosened a little stray wisps, framing my face, but I didn't care. I felt too full, too glowy, to worry about fixing anything. Dad was already in his recliner, tie gone, sleeves rolled up. Mum kicked off her heels and curled onto the couch, patting the spot beside her. Kaya flopped down on the floor, leaning against the coffee table, still buzzing from the day. I sank next to Mum, tucking my legs under the fluffy skirt. For a minute, we all just sat there, the quiet comfortable, like we were letting the day sink in. Dad broke it first, voice low and warm. You were something today, kiddo. Handled that whole room like you'd been Carol your whole life. Proud doesn't even cover it. Mum reached over, smoothing a loose strand behind my ear. You looked so comfortable up there, so happy. Every time I glanced at you on that throne, you were smiling like the weight of the world had finally come off your shoulders. Kia grinned up at me from the floor. And you danced like nobody was watching, even when everybody was. I've never seen you that free. She hugged her knees, eyes bright. I'm so excited to have a sister now. Like, actually excited. We've got years of catching up to do. Shopping, late night talks, borrowing each other's clothes without asking. I'm claiming big sister privileges starting tomorrow. I laughed, throat tight again. I'd love that. The warmth in the room wrapped around me like a blanket. I looked at each of them, really looked, and felt the words rise up. Dad, I started, turning to him first. Thank you for today, for the throne, for dancing with me, for handing me off to Julian like it was the most normal thing in the world. You made me feel safe. He nodded, eyes a little shiny, and cleared his throat. Anything for you. Mum, I continued, squeezing her hand. You made everything perfect. The dress, the party, holding up every gift like it was treasure. You've been my rock since the beginning. She kissed my temple. I'd do it 1,000 times, sweetheart. Kia, I said, leaning forward to touch her shoulder. Thank you for being so amazing today. For hugging me first, for making me feel like I'd always been your sister. I can't wait for all of it. She reached up and squeezed my fingers. Deal. Then, I smiled softer. And Grandma, she's been incredible. All those visits, teaching me little things, making me feel like her granddaughter without ever making it weird. I'm so lucky to have this family. All of you. Mum's eyes welled up, and she exchanged a glance with Dad. Speaking of lucky, she said gently, "Your dad and I have one more present. Something we wanted to give you here. Just us." Dad leaned forward, elbows on his knees. "We've been thinking a lot about school. Senior year starting soon, and we know how worried you've been about going back, as Carol." My stomach tightened. I'd tried not to think about September too much, but the fear was always there, lurking. Mum took my hand again. "So, we've made a decision. You're going to be homeschooled this year." I blinked, not sure I'd heard right. "That's right," Dad said. "You'll finish senior year right here. Online classes, accredited program, everything set up. You can stay home, be Carol every single day, do your schoolwork in whatever makes you comfortable. No nervous mornings, no anxious walks down hallways, just you, safe and happy." Mum nodded. "You'll still have your chores, keep the routine we've built, but on your terms. And we've also made an appointment with a doctor, someone who specialises in helping girls like you feel more at home in their bodies. Hormones, therapy, whatever you need to explore the next steps. We'll be with you for every visit." Dad's voice was steady, loving. "Of course, if at any point you want to stop, go back to being Clark, that door's always open. No questions, no judgment. But we see how happy Carol makes you. We see the real you. And if this is the path you choose, we'll walk it with you. We love you, no matter what. We just want you happy." The words settled over me like the softest blanket. Tears spilled before I could stop them, but they were pure relief, pure joy. I leaned into Mum, then reached for Dad's hand, pulling Kia in too, until we were all tangled together on the couch. "Thank you," I whispered, voice cracking. It's everything I ever wanted. I love all of you so much." Kia rested her head on my shoulder. "Welcome to the rest of your life, sis." And in that quiet living room, as we shared our love, I believed her. Carol wasn't going anywhere. She was finally, truly home.